Hello and welcome to GeoTV. I'm here in Hyde Park with Paul Taylor from Mode 7 Games, and we're talking about Frozen Synapse, which is currently in a pre-release beta for people who are willing to fork over for a pre-order. So how long has it been at that stage, and I guess what are you learning from beta players right now?
So the game's been in our pre-order beta since April, and we're learning basically that people are very opinionated and they have a lot to say, but in a good way. What we've kind of found out is that our idea to make a crazy tactical game wasn't completely insane, and people have kind of embraced it, but they're willing to give actually genuinely constructive feedback, which is not something I'd ever expect from a community, but ours seems to do that.
And for people who haven't seen Frozen Synapse yet, could you give a brief rundown of what the game's about?
Sure, we call it the ultimate tactical game. That's our kind of neat little tagline. It's basically a top-down, simultaneous turn-based game. So sort of in the style of older games like XCOM, Laser Squad Nemesis, that sort of thing. And it's basically designed around small squads. So you create a plan for your squad, your opponent does the same, then you commit your plans and watch the carnage as it unfolds. So kind of originally envisaged as a multiplayer game, but we're now kind of evolving it and taking it into a single-player game as well.
So you mentioned people are quite opinionated about what they've been playing so far. Have you taken on board much of their criticism and their opinions to change how Frozen Synapse stands right now?
We've tried to do that, and it's difficult because you have to really look at the kind of things that people are clustering their opinions around. You get bombarded with a lot of small feature suggestions, and what we've tried to do is, particularly with things like the UI, where there are things that irritate people, we've released a new build of the UI and asked people to sort of vote on whether they like it better or not, and just sort of highlight specific things to tweak. So we found that if we kind of get targeted feedback on issues like that, similarly things like balancing, the way certain game modes are played, we always try to react to make sure that the game is still fun, but yet kind of keep the essence of what we wanted to design. So it's a process that we're learning. It's quite a tough one.
You're not just tweaking the current version. You're adding new features all the time to the final release version. Could you tell me a few things that we're going to see next year when the game's released?
Sure. Well, one thing that you should see is a sort of much more comprehensive menu and matchmaking system. At the moment, we have a kind of menu that's a bit thrown together, and it works functionally, but it's not very elegant. So one of the big things we're going to do is try to basically just make it really, really easy to get a game, really easy to organise your friends list, that kind of thing. So lots of nice features like that. Also, as I mentioned, we're doing this big single-player mode, which is sort of the major departure from what we've got so far, and we're really trying to do a sort of big involving campaign that would be the kind of thing people are after. A lot of strategy gamers are very big on their single player, so we're going to try and do something to satisfy those guys.
So can we expect a full-blown plot, interesting varied locations and things like that?
We're trying to come up with something that is a bit unusual and probably is going to involve some dynamic and generated elements. So given that we may not necessarily be able to do the sort of traditional long-form plot, but having said that, there is a big backstory to the game that people don't really know about yet. There's a lot of stuff that's been written in early stages that's going to come back in. So we're just kind of excited about how to fuse that with a sort of quite dynamic generative system that we're putting in place. But that's sort of all I can say about that right now. At the moment, we're just doing loads of tests, just sort of throwing loads of different units together in different combinations and seeing what the most fun thing to do is against AI as opposed to against a person. So it will evolve out of the core gameplay, hopefully.
Awesome. And when is the release date? Have you set a release date yet?
We said early 2011. We're now saying Q1 2011. So we're just sort of basically desperately trying to get it out for next year is the plan. And we're sort of on course for that right now. If things keep going the way they're going with single player and we sort of get our final testing done, then we should hit that.
Awesome. Look forward to playing it. Cheers, man.
Thank you.